Alright boys, so Arc 3.0 is right around the corner, which leaves us a little bit of time to grind and get some exotics ready, so we have the most potent builds for when Arc 3.0 comes out and for when that day 1 raid comes out. So in this video I want to talk about some hunter exotics that synergize specifically with the Arc subclass. Now there is some exotics that would work really well with Arc, but they're not necessarily made for Arc, like for example 6 Coyote, which is a double dodge. I think that works for all subclasses, but that exotic isn't specifically made for Arc, so please keep that in mind while watching this video. Now these aren't in any specific order, although I do have my personal favorite, which would be Raiden Flux. So let's go ahead and start there. In my opinion, the super is the best part of the Arc subclass for the hunter, and Raiden Flux just turns your super up to 11. While wearing this exotic, you're granted the armor perk Synapse Junction, which states that quick successive attacks with Arc Staff increases its damage, output, and duration. So you can literally just stay in your super for way longer than you're supposed to while wearing this exotic, doing more damage, clearing out more ads. You can dodge around, do really cool combos with it. It's a really fun super, and using this exotic just makes it so much better. The rare couple of times that I've had to pull out Arc Hunter, which is very few and far between, I've always used Raiden Flux because again, it's my favorite part of the Arc subclass. Another quick note is that we don't know what keywords or verbs are going to be within the Arc subclass, and some of these exotics may get changed to synergize better with Arc, so just keep that in mind. This list is currently, as of now, without knowing the verbs, so some of these exotics are bound to change, which may switch things up or add some exotics to this list. Next up, we have Shinobu's Vow. Using this armor will grant you the perk New Tricks. It states that it improves skip grenades and you gain an additional skip grenade. Skip grenade returns energy when it damages enemies. So this is a straight up grenade exotic. You can have 2 skip grenades and you can just keep spamming them as long as you're doing damage. You refund your grenade energy and just keep that cycle going. Now I'm pretty sure skip grenades will do some type of verb like electrify or shock or something like that. So this actually might be a really good choice for PvE and PvP because those skip grenades do seek out enemies. So this is probably a really fun exotic to use once you do get the Arc 3.0 changes. Moving on, we have Liar's Handshake. Of course, we can't have an Arc exotic list for Hunter without having Liar's Handshake on it. Now this grants you the armor perk Cross Counter. Using your Arc melee ability or being hit by a melee attack will allow you to follow up with an extremely powerful melee counterpunch that will heal you. This is like the exotic to use if you want to use a melee based gameplay style, and Arc Hunter is really revolved around using a lot of melee attacks and following up with melee punches and this and that. So this is like the exotic to use for that subclass. Now you're going to be able to do a really powerful melee attack and it will heal you, so it has survivability and increase in damage with your melee attack. Pairing this exotic with a nice little 1-2 punch shotgun will allow you to really chunk down some of these enemies that have a lot of health, and it's just an all-around good exotic because Arc Hunter is really focused on using your melee attacks. And lastly, we have Lucky Raspberry. This grants you the perk Probability Matrix, increases the chaining capabilities of Arc Bolt Grenade, and has a chance to recharge it each time it deals damage. A full chain always recharges. This is another grenade exotic for the Arc Ball Grenade, and I feel like this is mainly to make Arc Ball Grenade really good in PvE, because in PvP, I mean, you're not really fighting. I mean, I guess you could be in a situation where you're fighting a lot of enemies at once, but I feel like the way to get the most usage out of this exotic is to throw it in a swarm of ads like Thrall or a bunch of acolytes. So this is definitely to make Arc Ball Grenade more viable in PvE. So I do recommend getting a roll of this exotic because who knows, maybe Arc Ball does another like electrify thing or blinds, or who knows what it can do. So being able to have your Arc Ball just chain to more enemies and have a chance to completely refill your grenade energy, I feel like that's really nice. So there you have it, boys. These are the 4 hunter exotics I really recommend you going out and getting before Arc 3.0 comes to us. Using this exotic to really elevate that Arc 3.0 subclass to the next level, alongside all the aspects and fragments we're going to get and those keywords that are going to make enemies electrified, shocked, blinded, whatever it may be. So if you go ahead and get yourself some of these exotics, get some nice rolls, and I hope you guys enjoy. Deuces!